Hello, Rachel.
Hi, Ryan.
How are you doing on this fine, fine day?
Okay, you?
I'm doing okay as well, just A-okay. I'm kidding, Rachel, I'm excited.
What?
I'm big. Not only am I excited.
Shut up about Big Kev.
Hey, if Big Kev was in The Expanse, who would he play, and why is it the Secretary General after Paul Hogan resigned as Secretary General? Because that was my pitch, was originally Paul Hogan, then I said he should be Dr. Accent, and now I'm saying Big Kev, Australian icon, Big Kev, R.I.P. Big Kev, we still miss you. No, all of the hijinks out of the way, I am actually doing very, very good, but I'm feeling a bit trepidatious because there's a lot of ground to cover on this podcast today known as Yum Podcast, because we are going through The Expanse for the first ever time, and we have hit a particular moment in the journey that is just making me sweat at the brow, because I knew that we were, or at least I got the sensation that we were starting a new book.
Yes.
But boy, I did not expect certain things to happen the way they happened in this television series, especially with where we are at. But we are Yum Podcast because of the reason Rachel loves so much, which is Star Trek Discovery. Rachel, Star Trek Discovery had a silly moment in which a character licked their lips sexily, threw their hair back and said, "Yum, yum." And it was such a strange thing that happened that we named the podcast after it, and we let everyone know that that was indeed a thing that was allowed on the television screen. I actually paid money to see that, as did you, because that was on Netflix here in Australia. That was on Netflix. We paid our hard-earned dollary dues, as we call them down here, to see her, this random character that we know nothing about, say yum yum in reply to a general question in the confines of a narrative. Did it make sense? Of course it didn't, but it haunts us to this very day. But what else do we do on this podcast, Rachel, other than explain yum yum to those not in the know?
We go through science fiction shows mostly. That's what we do. And you already mentioned we're here to discuss The Expanse. We haven't seen it before, so please, no spoilers.
We do actually have a Discord that people can chat about all of the things we don't see in this particular spoiler thread of our Discord, but you get to only be a part of the Discord if you join our Patreon, where we release these episodes first. That's right. If you want to hear the episodes early, support us on Patreon. It would mean so much to us. It's not just about getting that bonus content for just The Expanse, but you get so much else. And as mentioned, there's a community there that you can interact with. You can talk to us as well as other people listening to the podcast. You can all have a chin wag and a chuckle at the silly predictions that we say here. But in all fairness, Rachel, you were worried last episode that your predictions weren't good enough, but out of the two of us, you nailed it the most. So congratulations to you. Congratulations. But what episode of The Expanse are we here to talk about today? What episode of The Expanse has me tugging at my collar going, oh no, I don't know if I can handle this?
Delta V. All eyes turn to the edge of the solar system as a mysterious new presence emerges. Naomi recommits to her roots. Drummer butts heads with a seasoned new commander aboard the Behemoth. And
there's so much here.
A young belter makes a name for himself.
With Yum Yum, it doesn't just go to the silliness of that moment from Discovery and we just name ourselves after that. We have a rating system, as well as when we talk about The Expanse, we like to look at the moments that we found to be particularly sexy, arousing, horny, yum yum, because that line in Discovery was also very sexual in nature. And with Delta V, there's actually quite a lot to choose from here.
And now, I want to hear from you.
it's going to be tough because Rachel has an automatic Amos pick, and I think my regular pick is the automatic Amos pick. So I'm going to withhold from that and give you my second runner-up solution here, which is that racer guy, his girlfriend had nice big titties that she was willing to show to the camera before he got eviscerated brutally.
Yeah.
And that made me lean forward in my seat and say, smear the blood away. I want to see those titties. This show's holding titties from us.
They did also not give a full glory shot to his brother in the G-string.
Of course. Look, I'm focusing what I'm focusing on. Did you have a regular selection before your automatic Amos pick?
I was going to go titties. It's tits.
It's tits.
It's tits. Everybody likes tits, right?
I'll give Drummer a shout out. She just has a very raw, primal energy back and forth with Naomi, and Naomi has that flirty energy at the best of times. Just them two together in this episode got me licking my lips and saying, I ship them. I already shipped them earlier, but now you've made it almost canon because they're on a ship together. My God, I hope they kiss. I hope they kiss. And not only kiss, I hope they do more. Now, what is the automatic Amos pick, Rachel? I keep saying it, but for those not in the know, what does it all have to do with our boy Amos? Or your boy Amos?
He's not mine.
No.
But I do love him.
He doesn't shit where he eats, Rachel.
No. Ryan got annoyed at me always picking moments with Amos as my yum yum moment. Because he got bored and annoyed. So he made me change to have two. And this episode gives a lot of yum yum moments with Amos. He flexes those muscles.
He's around
some shit.
He's around plants.
He's got prax pads. It's adorable.
Many people hit on him.
Yes. Two main people hit on him. And my automatic Amos pick is from the first. It is when he leans into her neck, sort of like inhales her scent.
He was close to a lick.
Like,
so close to a lick.
It was almost gonna be like a lick or a nibble or like a really strong kiss.
It was so good.
Behind, like that sensitive part behind the ear.
His nose, his jaw, all of that moved her earlobe. That's how impressive it was.
Yeah, like
he was in the neck. He was a vampire this episode. He was hungry for blood.
Long-time listeners also know that I had a very lengthy vampire obsession as a teenager, so you know.
Would this guy would Wes Chatham be a good vampire in a project? Would he be good in Vampire Diaries?
Yeah. Like I think he could have made a really good Emmett.
I think he's
Twilight as well.
Oh, really? Because I think he's too much of a werewolf boy. If he was in Underworld, he would be one of Michael Sheen's boys. He would be Michael Sheen. Yeah, I think he'd be a Lycan.
I don't shit where I eat.
Delta V is a pretty monumental episode. We are starting anew. The status is no longer quo, but what did you think of the episode overall? We finished watching it, and I don't know what you think of this one. There's quite a lot of elements to chew on, but what were your overall impressions of it?
It was a really solid episode. It doesn't quite pack the punch like the last one did, but that makes a lot of sense because it like you can really feel that this is the start of a new arc. So there's lots of things that have shifted and moved, and the table has been reset in a lot of ways, and I'm really interested to see what happens next.
I'm glad to hear it. This has been my least favorite episode we've watched in a while.
Yeah, it really...
Yeah, I don't like...
It thuds. It thuds down. But it's like, well... What else would you do? Like,
Look, here's the difference between you and I. You like this episode for a start. I did not like this episode.
I didn't...
Don't backtrack. Let me own my disdain for this time. And it's not even this episode's fault. It's not even this episode's fault. I just want to get this out of...
I come in too hard because, like, I always hate the setups. And this is the setup. And I didn't want to be, like, predictable. But
Rachel,
it was
you said what you said. You got to be honest.
No, but I do want to just add that it's very dull.
Wow, Rachel, you're flip-flopping. I ask you your thoughts and you're like, it's good, it's this. And then as soon as I say, I don't like it, you're saying...
It was okay.
Play back the tape? No, I'm just yanking your chain. I just want to say that this episode is very good at what it has in it.
Yeah,
there's great scenes, great
purposeful.
characterful stuff. There's very many funny moments. I like a lot of these new characters that we've been given, or I even love where the characters that we do know are at now and the adventures that they could be on. I don't like these type of episodes in shows at the best of times. We're midway through a season, or we're partway through a season, or we finished up the big arc, and now what do? I don't know, just a massive time jump, and everything's completely different, and now we're going to have to spend several episodes catching the audience up to why everything has changed and to get used to how everything has changed. And there's always a permission for that when you end a season and you start a new season. There's always that. That's just a given. It's a part of the initiation to storytelling. But this is just one of those. It reminds me so viscerally of Desperate Housewives. And this is not me being funny, but Desperate Housewives made a massive time jump and it ruined everything and I hated it. And I'm not saying that this is ruining anything or I truly hate this. It's just these moments of storytelling in shows are very risky. That's the point. This is subverting the expectations. It's twisting and turning. It's making sure to pull the rug out from underneath you. It's resetting the board and now we're going to play a new game. It's a new story. It's a new arc. The characters themselves are basically new characters. And I just don't care for it right now. And I think a part of it is it's that overwhelming sense of now I'm really aware of the story, like the writing machinations. Like we're going to have to spend episodes doing this. Yeah. And maybe on a sentimental level, I would have liked to have seen Prax leave the ship and say goodbye. Maybe I would have liked to have seen Christian go back to the UN and get her job. And I would have loved to have seen the public reaction to Aaron Wright's betrayal and so on and so on and so on.
And how did it end up being that the Secretary General resigned? Was that his decision because of what Anna said to him? Was it pressure from outside or was it pressure from Avasarala?
I would have loved to have seen Anderson Dawes and Fred Johnson form this union that they've made and actually get to watch
the belt being declared a state.
The OPA specifically, yeah.
The OPA Navy.
Yeah, the OPA Navy's a statement said.
Like, I would much rather have stayed with the characters during that than skipped ahead to this point. Like, I have way more interest in the stuff that happened in between than the stuff that we're getting now. Like, Naomi leaving and all of the other stuff that we just said. And
I just find it a little corny at times when you have those scenes dedicated to giving exposition to the audience about, look, how much the characters have changed or their status in the universe has changed. Like there's that bit where it's like Jim Holden, the hero of the belt and of the universe.
To slap the show for bringing Diego back.
Diogo.
Oh, fuck it. I never say his name right. And
They brought your favorite character back.
He's just a stupid fucker. He's just a stupid fucking teenager.
I'm glad you brought him up because I didn't have him in my notes. Like, completely forgot his existence. But if this was a season premiere episode, I think I would be far more tolerating of it. But I still find some of this stuff a little eye-roll inducing. With it, we'll break it down more so with examples of characters' placements that I just don't care about. But
it's just a lot of this episode feels convenient.
But I, again, want to counter a lot of this with the performances are great, the production is great, the editing and also the way that this episode is structured within the script of how we're bouncing around from all of these different stories. I found it exhilarating. I thought they did it really well. They juggled all the balls. And
okay.
It's
like,
just I just loathe these type of episodes, especially when I got
of the beast.
I got comfortable. And then this reminded me that this is an adaptation of a book and that this book takes place this much time later and all the characters are set up differently. I wasn't expecting that. There's this heartbreaking realization too that when you go through the opening credits, we were told actually to skip the opening credits because they give away Thomas Jane's appearance, which is insane to have done. But what it also gives away is Sean Doyle's removal from the opening credits.
Yeah.
And my heart sinks that we aren't going to see Ehrenreich again.
Yeah.
We aren't going to see the Secretary General again. Like, it's done. Like, that stuff, we're done. And in this season, just specifically this season, and within the last episode or two, I and you put so much investment in the momentum of that. And now we're just
deal with the mess.
Yeah, but we're going to have to play around with.
It has
we're going
to
get
be
told
a grander scale.
We're going to get told how they dealt with the mess over the course of several episodes, and why Naomi has left, and why this person's gone here, and why and how Bobby did this and this and this and this.
I would rather have been on that journey. That's what I'm feeling right now. It feels very much like they've, set up a lovely display with all of the characters in the spots where they need them to be for them to then later converge and then for it to be resolved again and then for a new book to start. I'm just feeling that pattern.
I feel uneasy because with each thing I do like The Ring. I love The Ring. That's a cool thing. There's something that is here that I desperately don't want to be a part of. Oh, we've got a film crew on the Rossi. Love that. Absolutely adore that. Love those two characters, the cameraman and the reporter lady. Love them both. But James Holden is lovelorn and clearly missing Naomi. Ugh. We just had a whole bunch of episodes where their relationship wasn't okay, to end it with them having sex and making it seem like it's okay, only to then just be like, nah, it's not okay.
No,
we're going to do more shit with it.
They can't be in a stable relationship because that's boring.
And it's just constant like that, where it's like, oh, I love Christian being in charge and that she's this elegant person who's calling for peace and that Mars and Earth have found a united front to work with this, but also Ehrenreich's not going to be in the show anymore. Oh, that sucks. And then Anna's on this ship and I love all of that.
Or
and
a monkey paw.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Anna's on this ship. Really love that. She's doing something over there and her partner's missing her. Great, thumbs up. Oh, Bobby's back in the Martian Marines. Everything I like is then just punched me in the face with, no, Ryan, here's something that you definitely don't like right now. Right now, that is.
It's almost more frustrating because the pro and con list are equally weighted, but you can keep on adding to that list.
And again, we're only at the beginning. These things will change. These things will become accustomed to us, but this is the overall reaction, and that's a part of what they want in the show. They want to fuck with you. They want to shake the cage. They want to put together a new puzzle game to play because we finished the previous one, and that's just the nature of the beast as said.
Yes.
That is how it is, and this is our reaction to it.
I can feel the love already.
Christian won. She won. She beat Ehrenreich. The Secretary General stepped down, and she is the top dog. She's no longer the third most powerful person. She's no longer the person that's hiding behind others, and she has the true power at the end of the day. She is the one that's the face of Earth now.
Yeah. I love how she tells, I think it's like a makeup person, fuck off. It's just like the first thing that we hear her mutter pretty much is just that. And we get to see her press conference. And I was enjoying looking in the background to see all the like family photos. Because I really enjoy the way that they dress the sets in this show.
Oh no, costume was gorgeous. Her
that
dress,
goes without saying,
but
doesn't it?
particularly,
It's just-
this is one of the great ones.
Yeah, like it feels extra special.
She's constantly advocating for peace. It's easy to want revenge. It's easy to want that bloodthirsty, like, punch the person back. But no, we are going to work together.
And
it's unity now.
she can do that because there is a new them. Without the ring, she would not have been able to unify the humanity.
Not in this concise of a way. No, because
like eventually, like she's a badass bitch and she gets what she wants, but it would not have come together this quickly.
Not at all.
Without a obstacle for them to join forces against.
Earth would have been screwed over more so if it hadn't been for the ring being there, because it was revealed that this was a war made in this illegal manner, that there was all of this backstabbing and coups and political plays and framings and murders, and it would have made Earth really sink down in the whole entire thing. But because there's a new threat, because there's a new unknown force, they need to work together. And the proto-molecule, okay, it became a giant squid, as one person says, and then it miraculously became a big ring in space.
Yeah, well, it seemed to be building itself into a ring, and I don't know how long that process took, because it was a bit like, wait, how much time is passing? And
it's been, I think they said like a few months. I can't remember if this was the number, but I think it was like 184 days, something like, in my brain that number's sticking. Maybe it's some other number, but it's been a few months.
That makes sense, because it takes a long time for them to get there.
What do you think about the ring more so? You said you're like, what do you mean? This is again, weird left turn to take.
Yeah, but it just feels weirdly like this is another destination where a weird thing is happening. We had the same sort of thing happen with, like, we've got to find Julie, and then Julie was a weird fucking thing. And then
she was a goo lady.
Yeah. And then Eros as a whole.
It became a spaceship.
Mm-hmm. And then it was the quest for Io. And now it's the quest for the ring.
Oh, of course, Venus was a whole entire thing that was happening. And then now it's the ring. Yeah. I immediately, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, it's a jump gate, it's a stargate, it's a transport thing, right?
Yeah, that was what I was thinking as well.
Since most of, if you have not seen Delta V, this is very key. A lot of the big things that you think would be important, like the ring, or all of these political machinations, or the changes going on, or Jim Holden's status in the galaxy, or Naomi having moved to a different ship, a lot of it is on purposely withheld from us and or told in the background on the news quietly and is talked over. Yeah. But I want to know, do any people in the show know that it's clearly like a transportation device, that this is, because I saw it and that's my immediate thought. I'm like, oh, this looks like it's a jump gate. This looks like it's a thing that's going to activate like a transwarp conduit or something.
I don't think anybody in the universe has figured that out yet. I think that's us as sci-fi nerds recognizing it as a specific sort of imagery, because it's just like, well, like they have nothing in their world that works like this, where it's a gate, it's a circle, it's a gate, and it connects to another like
ring.
Yeah, probably like another ring, or like connects to another type of space. Like I'm thinking hyperspace and
or liquid space.
Babylon 5. And
here's the thing, though. I'm going to keep dancing with you here. Dr. Accent, he was a character that represented that people in the universe do think like we are thinking right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
there's someone out there that should rightfully be like, oh, it's clearly this.
Someone will be, but I don't think any of our characters have. The main reason that I'm saying that, other than the fact that nobody else brings that up as an option, is that the conversation that Anna has with the guy on the ship,
the scientist,
makes me think that they're going to figure it out. They haven't figured it out yet.
This is just one of those moments that I hope we get very clearly and soon. Someone just looks at the visual of this thing and says, I think it's this obvious thing that we know, because
it's just like, oh, it's a tunnel, right?
Yeah.
Like something.
Because does that not bother you in shows when there's a spooky thing like this, and because we exist in the universe and we understand stories, we can put together what it is, but the characters in the show are just scratching their head going, what could it be? I don't know. We're going to have to spend 10 episodes on this. And it's like, come on, use some bigger thought process here.
You're also talking to somebody who reads romance novels. Like that's...
You read that.
30-40% of the book a lot of the time is them being like, oh, do I have feelings? Oh, no, I don't want to have feelings. Oh, no, it couldn't possibly be feelings that I'm having.
An intelligence created it. An extremely intelligent intelligence.
What do you think it is?
Pray that it's inert.
We have this framing device of this very upset Belter who keeps on getting overshadowed by the ring. And he's just like, he gets on the news for like a couple of seconds. And then every time it's breaking news with the ring.
But what's he getting overshadowed in particular about? Like, what's he trying to achieve?
He's just trying to use his ship, the slingshot racer, to do these really cool moves, which are like televised, and we know this from way back when Miller was investigating and stumbled into a drug den where they were watching these events, these races.
It's what Julie was a part of. It was the subculture that she was in. And I do appreciate that we are touching base with this side of this series, because the first season in particular, for the faults that we had with it, it did live and breathe in these little sects of life. You had the racing guys, you had obviously all the OPA stuff and the different factions, you even had the cybernetic guys who were criminals and they were doing this. We haven't touched that ever again, by the way. There've been no cybernetics since season 1 in that particular fashion, but I did like this framing device, this device that is humorous. It's very funny. Like, it's played comedically. There's very high energy. There's lots of pop songs in it. Pop songs done in the belter language and the belter code and accent and credo. I thought that was very funny. I got big laughs out of that.
I also really like the design of his ship. Like, it's very much one person, scrappy, especially since we got to see the inside of Julie's racer.
And he's a loser. He's winning at being able to break all of these records and make all of these great, wonderful, astonishing achievements, but he's a loser. He keeps getting overshadowed. He keeps getting absolutely ignored because of this galactic-wide incident. Hey, look, there's this alien ring over there. That is obviously important, but he wants to impress everyone, especially his girlfriend back home, his girlfriend who is very easily swayed one way or the other, and now she's sleeping with his brother because this guy's such a fucking loser. But if he goes real fast this time, she'll be there waiting for him back at home, and that motivates him to do what he does. But
that, I don't think I've had such a visceral reaction, like my jaw on the floor, with a death like that since Shed.
Yeah, when Shed's head exploded.
When Shed's... Because,
So, what happens?
It's glorious in its gore. He slams into the ring. He wants to go through it. He was just like, oh, well, they can't ignore me. I'll make history if I do. And there appears to be nothing blocking.
It's just a ring. It's empty. There's nothing in the center of this ring. So he should be able to just fly through it.
He manages to get through past the security. They warn him and he's like, oh, no. I just got to do this. I just got to do this.
He's bullshitting them.
And he doesn't get shot down. He just makes his way through and he hits and explodes. Basically, like,
well,
he's torn.
Yes, the momentum makes him fly forward and his body rips and eviscerates apart. He explodes, like his body just like bloss all over the screen. He bukakis all over us. But the thing is, there's now this energy field or substance or something in the ring that's basically clogged his ship there. And so he's flying at this momentous speed, just vroom, and then hits a brick wall basically. But his ship doesn't explode. His ship is fine, but just the sheer force of it all lunges him forward, and his seatbelt basically holds remaining bits of him back. And now it's just this carcass in there. It was very surprising. It was very gory, as stated, but also I couldn't help but laugh. I'm like, that's so funny. That's so funny. That's just, this guy is trying to make a big deal and he just got killed trying to do that.
He wanted to make a name for himself and he succeeded.
Or he's made the ring more important.
Yes, that too.
It will be like, this belter died because of the ring. The ring, yes, the ring. Oh, isn't that cool? It's the ring.
He will be a nameless belter.
He will be a guy that will be a footnote in the ring's history. That's what he will be. And that is very, very sad for him, but very amusing for me as a viewer. And everyone's coming to the ring. He hears on the news, James Holden is coming to the ring, and there's these civilians that are going there in Mars and the OPA. Everyone's got an investment in this unknown quantity, and we see the civilian fleet. We see the civilian ship. It's very calm,
and
casual.
Anna's there.
Anna, of all
Neither
people.
of us were expecting to see Anna again. We're both very happy about it, but, like, we were very surprised that the show brought her back. Once we got the explanation, it was like, oh, yeah, okay, of course.
I like Anna. She's good, and so to keep her around for more time is a good move on the show's part, because basically taking down Ehrenreich is her function, and you could have just stopped it there, and she went back home and she's doing her job, and it's all good, happy stuff. And now she is at the forefront yet again of something bigger than herself, and she has questions. She has wants and needs and desires in relation to
she's
this.
Going after it. She's seeking out that. I don't know what position he is.
He's like the leading scientist of this ship, and there's an amazing exchange. I really like how Anna is written as this religious character who is aware of the feelings people have towards reverends and priests and people who announce themselves as I am of a religious background, because this person is just like, oh yeah, let me guess, you're one of, like, why are you asking this? You're one of those god people. Like he's just rolling his eyes at it. Why do you care? I love
her response of like, well, I'm not coming here on the ship on the wings of an angel. I'm coming here on a ship.
Yeah, I have the quote because I liked it so much. Well, I came here on a spaceship, not the wings of an angel. I am able to appreciate the difference. And that's Anna for you. She's here. She's going to be important to the story going forward. And she's the person in the show right now that is asking all of the logical questions about the proto-molecule. She's asking this and this and this and this, and she's just getting dismissed. This person who doesn't know the answers fully is just blowing her off and thinking it's just poppycock. And in a weird way, it's like this guy has gone through the plot of the series thus far and is aware that everything that Anna is asking may not be applicable to the proto-molecule that we've seen thus far. But the thing is, the proto-molecule keeps fucking changing.
It evolves. It learns. It changes.
She is us. She wants to actively engage with what's its purpose overall. People are too busy reacting to it rather than taking that step back and thinking about its grander purpose. Everyone's just seeing it as the imminent threat currently.
They want to know, what is it doing? She wants to know why is it here and why is it doing it?
We get a new character introduced. Someone who's also, I think, in the civilian fleet as well. I had a little bit of a hard time tracking exactly which ship this person's on, because there's a lot of ship hopping this episode.
Yes.
A lot of, it's a meaty episode when the fonts get used a lot in the episode. They have different little texts and different little fonts, and they're going to use them at the bottom of the screen to tell you when you are and where you are.
Yes.
And boy, is there a lot of stuff to track about. We got this new mechanic, is the best way to describe them. Melba. What do you think about this character? The mechanic who is a part of a new crew, but she has a secret agenda, which is plant a bomb.
Yeah, she's on salvage. I was just like, okay. What's going on here? What's going on? I'm intrigued, but not invested.
This is a story that is very much setting up a mystery and new stakes. Literally a bomb. There's a bomb here, and we have to wonder if it will go off and what it will do when it goes off, and why she is doing this in the first place. Who is she actually? Because we get little hints of things. So for the most part, she's playing a character. She's playing this naive, bumbling, innocent, golly gee, I don't know, I'm in over my head. I've never done things like this. I'm so nervous and sweaty and, oh, please feel pity for me. But that's an act, and we know that very clearly because of one thing in particular, which is her reaction about James Holden. She says he's a narcissistic prick. She is the one that doesn't like James Holden.
Yeah.
This is in a universe now where everyone is appreciative of him. He's a hero. He's someone that people respect or
It's
at least
not
have
that
feelings
simple.
about. But she has what comes across as a very personal grievance with Holden. And this is the thing. Oh, I should say, she kills a guy to secure the bomb. She bites into her tooth, and I think it gives her, like, powers. Who knows if it's blue goo related or if it's just steroids or adrenaline. Who knows? Or if it's cybernetics again. Hey, bring that back. Season 1 had it, and you haven't brought it up again. But the thing is, what is her deal? Who is she? Do you have any thoughts? Because that's the main thing to really take away from this is who is she and what's she about?
Theory 1, Mao's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Theory 2.
Theory 2. It's a game theory. Go on.
Holden's first girlfriend's sister.
Holden's first girlfriend's sister. Oh, you mean the one from the ice hole at the beginning of the show?
From the Canterbury.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Sure.
Yep.
I think it's Mao's other daughter, just
yeah, so do I.
Just because of obvious reasonings of her reacting about James Holden being this great figure because he brought in Mao, and she's like, fuck that guy. Also, this actress that they hired could reasonably be Julie's older sister. You could see that from just how she holds herself, how she carries herself, just a general demeanor and obviously looks, but also maybe because we've been hearing a lot about Julie's older sister and we haven't seen her.
We have been waiting. We've been waiting.
Hey, new girl. Like what you see?
Wouldn't rub up against that narcissistic asshole with your junk.
The Rossi has a film crew. And they're slippery motherfuckers. And it's a very smart move by the writers to put this in their midst, because we got a little taste of it with the Martians that tried to commit mutiny and
retake their ship.
Yeah.
Which is the point of contention. The Rocinante is a ship you stole. It's a ship you've taken. The Martians would love it back, in fact. You've stolen a very expensive piece of property from them, and they don't appreciate it. Give it back to them, James Holden. And they're saying, no, it's ours now. We own it. We've put our names on it.
It was genuine salvage.
It was genuine ownership on our part. We were given it by that Martian Marine in the first season. He said it's ours now, and that was a deathbed give, and you can't take backsies. What do you know? You're just space journalists. Bring out the space lawyers. Oh, that's why we have you on the ship, because we need to pay our space legal fees?
Yeah, because we're being sued.
They are being dragged through court. They are people who have committed crimes against certain governments, certain entities, and now they are being held accountable, because although they have done so much good for the universe, that does not mean all of the bad is just shrugged off and thrown away. Throughout this season, we have seen the Rocinante really struggle. We've seen it have to get on by. There's been damages. There's been losses of equipment. They've had to scrounge for parts. They've had to worry about foreign invaders. They've also had blue goo in the ship the entire season, and it's not been commented on, but it's still there. It's still lurking in the ship, in the layers. And we have seen the crew themselves have to really contend with the fact that once they are done with saving the galaxy, what comes next? We have to deal with what our actions were, the repercussions of them, as well as ourselves as individuals. And my, the film crew, it takes me all the way back to Battlestar Galactica with Lucy Lawless, where you have the shifty reporter, the reporter clearly with an agenda, but they're claiming, no, I'm just here to be an unbiased view. And whenever
I just want the truth.
And whenever I'm aggravating you, it's because I want you to stop being performative. I want to bring out the honest side of yourself, as well as make some drama, but don't get upset when I try to fire you up or when I do some research. Come on, boys! It's obvious that I'm going to do some research, because if I can do this research, anyone can do it on you. So why are you being such a frowny face? And the real key to this is we see Amos and Alex have this get under their skin. They don't appreciate it. Whenever they are confronted by these journalists and that they have more going on than they expected, they are absolutely bothered by it. But James Holden is not. He is aware. He knows that they're trying to get a rise out of him. And there are still moments of vulnerability. There are moments where he plays it up for them, like at the very beginning where they want another take. They want a different angle. Hey, could we do this again? But what is really, really cool to me about this aspect of it all, Rachel, with Holden is, although he's cool as a cucumber, although he's not letting them get to him, they are really tightening the screws on him the most, because he's the one that's not giving them the chum that they need. And they have a hit piece in the making on him.
He's not playing the game, and that just makes them go after him harder.
And how are they going after him? What's their angle to take on James Holden, the savior of the galaxy right now?
Yeah. And it's to press him about Naomi.
And also, he's a man who's a liar and an egotist. Those are the two things. Hey, Naomi's gone. How does that make you feel? Don't you feel sad about that? Also, you're a filthy liar with a secret agenda, and you've always had secret agendas, and you're actually a person who loves it. You love being in the center of attention, don't you? You love being in the thick of it. You love being in the danger, and that's why you're really here on the Rocinante, isn't it? Isn't it, James Holden?
You want to be at the center of everything. And I think it's interesting to see somebody bring that to Holden, because that's something that he was struggling with in the last arc of the show.
I still wish that I cared, even a slight bit, about the Naomi and Holden romance, because when we have this storyline in this episode, and this is when Holden is vulnerable, when they touch that nerve that the woman he loves is no longer aboard, and he has to put on a brave face and a stiff upper lip that it's good that she's deciding what she wants for herself and I don't mind, but clearly it hurts him deep down. I really wish that I had any connection to their relationship for this to be effective. And Rachel, you have been very critical of their relationship too. So does this stuff land or work or move you in any way with their stuff?
It doesn't move me. Don't really care. I'm like, keep them separated. Let that be the drama. I don't want any more secrets between them, because they did the whole declaration of no more secrets and all of that bullshit. So let it just be that, like, she's doing her own thing and he's left behind.
Why is it? And again, there may be people out there who are big into this central romance, but what really is aggravating, and this sums it up beautifully this episode, is can their relationship, Rachel, can their relationship exist without some sort of drama tearing them apart?
Oh, yeah, like it certainly could. It could. But the show's not interested in showing a relationship like that. They don't want any of the characters to be stable.
I I genuinely think they're incapable of doing it for these two characters. I think they're of the mindset that for a relationship at the heart of things to work, it always has to be in a giant state of flux, and that the characters have to drift apart from one another so that throughout the adventure we draw them closer and closer and closer, and by the end of a stretch of story or a season they can be embraced again. And isn't it so sweet only to then
about that.
No, exactly, because we don't get the sense of what they are like when they're actually embraced and together. It's what, 30 seconds a season we get that? I'll be generous. I will be real generous. 2 minutes. 2 minutes a season, we can have them being a sweet, tender couple without any writing drama bullshit. And you, Rachel, are a big fan of lots of trashy shows and romance in shows, and many of them do this.
Yeah. And I don't like it most of the time. Because I would, it's just another part of them resetting the board. That's what it feels like. Because they can't let these characters be happy, because that would be boring. They need to have something going on. So it's this time. And it gets dull after a certain point, especially when, as a person who's engaged with a lot of these storylines, there's only so many different ways that writers do it. So it's just oh, it's this one.
There's just nothing specific about their relationship. It's all general. How would you describe their relationship other than they are man, they are woman, they love each other, they have sex, they fight, they are there to lean on each other's shoulder for reassurance when the time allows for it? They are a people who are from two different worlds. Aquaman, you can't marry a woman without gills. You're from two different worlds. There's nothing more, and I feel terrible about it because I love this type of thing with Holden, right? I love this in a story with a relationship where they have this fork in the road where this person has to go off and do something.
Together, then they're not doing the will they, won't they, but they're doing the other version of it, which is they're together, but will they break up or won't they break up?
And they both have protagonist-worthy events in their lives that they must cater to, but will that be a detriment to their relationship? Naomi wants to be a belter and proud and connect with her people and help form them as a genuine entity within the solar system. And James Holden wants to still gallop about and do his thing and look at what's going on with the ring and investigate the proto molecule. And to do that, they must separate. But there's not necessarily an animosity in the relationship, but clearly it's eating him up on the inside, that they can't have both and that they can't have this. And I do like that type of relationship drama in a series, but the problem is I can never really get much out of these two being together. Besides, they are both sexy people and they might have sex itself in a season. And that's it.
We've come to trust each other.
Including Naomi?
Yes. I trust Naomi. I don't always agree with her decisions or her tactics, but...
I think what you are liars. All of you.
Excuse me?
I don't think anyone on the ship is being honest about why you're here, what you want, and who you are.
Alex, he's a social butterfly. He wants the attention. He wants to be loved. He wants to be adored. He wants to regale them with all of his amazing stories and come across as this big hero. And how do they screw with him, Rachel?
They secretly film him as well. That's part of it. They film that conversation with Bobby that is meant to be private.
Mm-hmm.
And they keep on sort of going, yeah, no, we don't want you. Shut up. We're talking to somebody else.
You know what they do? They do all of that, as you said, but they talk about the weirdness that is his family life and that he's out here rather than back there. And why is that?
They get personal.
Which
is how they get to all of them. They get to Holden because they make it personal about Naomi. They get Alex because they make it personal about his family back on Mars. And they make it personal with Amos about his past.
And they're all surface level observations. They're not hard-hitting facts. They're not really that difficult to find. That's the thing that the journalist really emphasizes is, I did research. Not even the greatest amount of research. This is stuff anyone can do. You are no longer people in amongst the crowd. You are no longer faceless people living on an ice hauler. You are well known. You are renowned. And I can just pick this up. And I can evidently screw with you by just pressing this. Now imagine what anyone else can do if they did even more. If they did even more investigation on you. I'm just here to record you and to do some interviews and maybe pick up some little tidbits here and there. And with Alex, it's almost like they played our podcast at him, where it's just ridiculing him for being a terrible person and a bad family man and just this selfish, egotistic piece of garbage. And like usual, whenever he's confronted with that, he tucks his tail between his legs, feels real sorry for himself, and tries to, I don't know, what's the best way to describe it, Rachel? Like, he tries to live out what it would be like to be the thing that he's expected to be, because he phones up Bobby and he's there just to listen to how she is being that awesome Martian soldier that he wishes he could be. And he connects with her about how she caught up with his family. And it's like he's living the family life via a surrogate of a person who doesn't even know his family.
Happy his wife filed for divorce. Like, I am like, congratulations.
She deserves it.
You deserve it.
She deserves it. And Bobby is giving Alex the most important piece of advice he could hear. What's the piece of advice that she gives him? A piece of advice that she is acting out herself.
See, I can't remember exactly because I just remember more her at the end being like, you've earned the Rossi.
You're a good pilot.
You're a good pilot. Be a good pilot.
Her overall sentiment is to own up to what you are. Why pretend? Why lie about it?
Own what like you the are domestic never held appeal for me either. So
why pretend? Yes, what you've done is awful and shitty and probably not the right thing to do, but you should be who you are. You want to be this amazing pilot? Guess what? You are. Enjoy that. I want to be a Martian Marine and a badass, and I am doing that again. And you can tell that because I'm on a different ship wearing the Martian uniform again, and I've got my hair in that tight little bun on the top of my head again. So you know that things are back to normal for me. Bobby's a character that we've had a very tumultuous relationship with, and now she's back to where she started. How do you feel about where...
We get a goodbye for her and not for Prax. I'm angry about that.
Well, it's kind of like a check-in for her rather than a goodbye. It's not like we saw her leave the ship and they're like, goodbye, Bobby.
No, but it's just like she's back doing Marine shit. And it's just like, oh, like she's there if we want to touch base with her, but I feel like we won't see her for a little while. That's my feeling.
Any feelings on this being where she is at again?
Oh, it's very logical. The good PR move for the Martians to accept her back into the fold, and I think if we do check back in on her, there will be a lot of people questioning her loyalty. And that would get under her skin very, very effectively.
Do you believe that she would go back after everything she went through, though? After she basically learned how corrupt the entire organization and hierarchy, chain of command and system is?
But it's also like I didn't imagine her staying with the Rossi, and she would not stay with Christian.
I thought she would stay with Christian.
I was just like, no, she's going back to what's familiar. Her whole life was built around being a Marine, and her whole childhood was leading up to her becoming a Marine. So I don't think she would know how to do anything else, and she basically says as much.
But I want that to be her story, is to figure that out instead of just going back to it.
If they do pick her back up, I think that might be a part of it, of her being like, no, I went back to this, but, you know, this outfit doesn't fit me anymore. I've changed.
Again, that is one of those examples I was talking about earlier where I get something I like and then I get something I know I don't really care for right now, and that's one where I don't really care for it because we already went through this journey of her being the tough, confident Marine and then realizing that she can't be that because of A, B, and C, and now she's fallen into this new position where she's respected and has trust and has autonomy and can give a perspective on things that others cannot, and so on and so on and so on. We'll see how it plays out. That's the thing. A lot of this episode is we'll see how it plays out rather than feeling it in the moment.
Everything's just at its starting position.
Amos is your favorite character in the series, and this episode, like the last one, had a whole slew of things for him. And how about you talk to us a bit about not only how the journalists get into him and what they reveal, but your perspectives on it. Did this surprise you? What were your opinions on it? And how did you feel about his overall reactions to the film crew?
1, I like it. I think it's good. I think it's an interesting move. 2, I think his reactions are very in character, but also an evolution of that. Like a couple of seasons ago, he wouldn't have just broken the camera, he would have broken the cameraman's face. So he's grown. He's grown.
He's matured.
Yeah. And we sort of find out more concretely what he was when he was back at Baltimore, which was a mob boss.
Yeah. I didn't expect, I mean, it all makes sense. Yeah. I just didn't put 2 and 2 together that he was
in charge
and that he was a mob boss guy. I thought he was just like a heavier muscle. I thought he was involved in that world, but then
same.
He got
I didn't
out,
think. I was just like, oh, like.
But he was one calling the shots.
Yeah, which I was also surprised by because it felt like he walked away from it being a pawn. That's what I was taking it as, but he rose up the ranks.
And then whatever happened, shit hit the fan and he had to go into hiding. This is... It
makes it feel more like he's run away from Baltimore than walked away.
He died, remember? He's like, I died, and that's how I got out. And I would imagine for someone of his status, you have to die for you to be able to be free of this, or else they'll forever be after you. And now here he is, alive again, face in the news. Everyone's aware of his existence. There's not only going to be a lot of turmoil on the inside brought up, but on the outside, people like the press are going to start grilling him and saying, this doesn't add up. And are you this man? Because his backstory that he's given, which does seem true.
He didn't even change his last name.
Didn't change. Hey, it's a very common name. Is it Amos? is it? But his backstory is he won as a teenager, he won the lottery, and he gets this engineering thing, and it helped him to become what he became now, and through his own personal experiences of just living out in space, and what he gave out to everyone is this wonderful, wonderful image of the poor boy who got this gift upon them, and they managed to rise up out of the filth and go to the stars and become a hero.
The ideal version of that lottery process played out.
With Amos's crime gangster backstory, what I love is taking this long to get there, because we have built up the character so well that this very obvious, very cliched, tropey thing no longer feels like that. Because in season 1, we were talking about very often how this relied on a lot of typical, very clear-cut, just very obvious genre trappings and things like this. And in many stories, whether it's in Killjoys, whether it's in a Cowboy Bebop or things like that, you have the person who is this former crime figure, but something went wrong and they had to go into hiding, and now here they are trying to keep their head down low, but they can't help but get back into the action. They can't help themselves. And you've seen that. You've seen that a million times. Like, Amos's backstory is very much attuned to what we are familiar with. But because we have drawn it out for such a long time, and because we have really gave the characters these unique layers, it doesn't feel as tiresome as when season 1 was stacking, or season 2 was stacking on all of these very obvious things, like with Naomi's tragic backstory in the previous episode, where she was a mother who lost her child because of a bad man, and now here she is and she's become this. It's not as if what these characters are unique specifically, but like what they were, like their backstories are not particularly unique, but they themselves as individuals have a certain spark to them where they can overcome what could be very, very trite. And you being a particular lover of this character, I mean, you have the whole entire segment about the hotness of him, but when it comes to just that side of it all, do you have any words about it, any thoughts about it? Because if this was something they revealed in like episode 3 about Amos.
Yeah, I'm glad that it's at this point that we get this information, because I've really appreciated the slow, methodical nature of them fleshing out Amos's past, and the fact that we had an idea of what it was like, and now this one sentence changes everything.
Prax is gone.
And Amos misses him.
Amos says that he was his best friend.
Yeah.
Prax said it first, and now he believes it about Prax. They were best friends, but Prax remains in a fashion. His Prax panels are all over the ship. There are these plants everywhere, and Amos is attending to the plants.
Yep.
He's changing. He's got so much.
He's nurturing something, not just destroying. Because he eviscerates that camera drone.
Oh, he completely destroys the camera.
That poor kitchen table. Poor kitchen table. Like, it looked like it had gotten repaired.
No, it was still broken from when Miller. I was noticing that before. I was like, hey, it's still broken because I table watch. I'm doing a table watch. Still broken from when him and Miller had to lay it all out on the table, and then he smashed him on the table. We never talked about how funny that was, where Miller did say, let's lay it all out on the table, and then a second later, he gets laid out on the table. But the cameraman hits on Amos. He's like, hey, the lady didn't work. Maybe you're into guys. And it's not like Amos is like, ill, no homo, bro. It's more, dude, I don't shit where I eat. I said this before. I'm saying it again.
Doesn't matter who it is.
I heard you shut down Monica. Does that mean I have a chance?
Like I told her, I don't shit where I eat.
You live on a spaceship.
And I don't shit in the galley.
This cameraman also is a shifty guy. He's clearly shifty. Not, he's clearly like sneaky and
Yeah.
he's up to something. Like he just looks ominous all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
this episode does that a lot of just like obviously villainous person.
We didn't mention this off mic, but he's blind, right?
Yeah, he's blind.
Yeah.
And I guess he's got the cybernetic thing with the camera.
Cybernetic thing, yeah, because he's
So you can stop writing the comments. They did bring it back for this cameraman, okay? They did bring it back. I bitched about it this episode in the same episode where they actually brought it back. So you know what? Fuck me. Fuck me with the cameraman. Yes, I'll say yes to it. I shit in the galley. But yeah, he's blind and he's got the camera and he's coming across throughout the whole entire episode as shifty in a different way to the woman.
Yeah, there's a reason that the corporation sent these two.
But I think that he has an agenda different to her.
Yes.
I don't think he's working with her. For whatever he's up to.
I think that they were given different tasks.
Oh, you think? I genuinely, for the moment being, I take her at her word of she's just a sleazy journalist. Like she's here to do what she needs to do and she's going to play dirty to get it. I think he's a saboteur. I think he's like Melba. I think he's someone that has the opportunity to strike and he's getting out the layout of the ship. He's getting the security stuff. He's looking around. And I just say that because this episode, and I don't know if I said it just a moment ago offhand, but this episode in particular did a lot of saying something and then showing something in relation or in contrast of very villainous things. It's just like, yeah, here's this character. What could go wrong? Enters new character we haven't seen before who looks evil. Like they do a lot of that during this episode, and the cameraman felt like that way more than she did.
Yeah.
It's like, here's a new thing on the ship. Here's sexy journalist lady who's willing to do whatever she needs to get the story, and here's cameraman whose agenda is unknown to us. Like, we don't know what his angle is on anything, but we do know that if you leave him alone, he's going to tinker with things he shouldn't be tinkering with. That's why got to keep an eye, Rachel, we've got to keep an eye on him and the table. It's blind guy watch and table watch tonight. Between season 3, episode 6 and season 3, episode 7, the OPA, one of the most interesting factions within the series, a terrorist organization, one that's had all of these moral complexities, has become a genuine political state. They have become an authentic player.
The Belter State in the OPA Navy.
Fred Johnson and Anderson Dawes are the head of it. They've joined forces together, although they still have things they're withholding from one another.
Yeah.
But for all intents and purposes, they have achieved what the OPA has set out to do.
They are back to being allies.
And
it's even more fragile than before, but they're back.
All off screen. Yeah, it's. I'm sorry if that is going to bother people listening that keeps being brought up, but I would have loved to have seen this all on the screen. We're living in a post that, and we're going to have to see them try and maintain it and the struggles within that, and that's cool too. Like I want to say all of the OPA stuff in this, all of the Behemoth stuff in this was my favorite aspect of the episode. I really loved all of this, even Naomi's stuff. Really loved all of that, but there was just this sigh of, I actually was interested in the journey to this.
Yeah. We've said that about a bunch of stuff this episode of like, We would have loved to have been a part of that time skip.
What do you think Anderson Dawes is going to be like now that he has actually got what he said he wanted?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Because do you think he genuinely wants this? Or believe that this could be attainable?
I'm not sure. I feel like he's already gonna have another plan though. Like, he got this. He's already gonna be working for the next thing that he's like hustling for.
Is he a character? And even Fred Johnson, are they two characters that can change for good? Can they do the thing that is often the question you see with these narratives, which is, can the terrorist organization that was fighting for once was a legitimately good cause, but then became fractured and astray, can they, once they get what they have been fighting for, can they hold on to it, and can they turn back to being noble and good? Can they do that? And within this episode, that's a question at the center of it. With all of the stuff on the behemoth, you have these two different groups of thought on it. You have the Drummer is her name, Kamina Drummer. We finally get her full name, Drummer. She's of the old school. Why should we sacrifice what we are for the inners and for the rest? They should become more accustomed to what we're about. And then you have a new figure, Ashford, who's Mr. We're here and we need to change. We need to become more civilized. We need to pull our heads in and not become the bloodthirsty monsters that we've had to be for all of this time to get our voice heard.
They've put us in a place equal to the inners. We have to play it by their rules now.
And isn't that undermined by the fact that the Nauvoo has been turned into the behemoth? The Nauvoo was taken, this religious ship, this ark, this savior for all of these people has been removed, stolen from them, and is turned into an OPA military base.
Yeah. Like, they have like the CNC in the
It's very funny because the murals are still everywhere.
Yeah, it is just like the center console is on the little I can't remember the right word for it. I want to say chest, but that's not it. Yeah, but like the glory of that contrast.
The OPA graffiti over the gorgeous murals everywhere. That's so funny.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
But it does go against it because this new character, I think his name's Ashford, he says all of this stuff, but also we should get nice big guns on this religious vessel. We should get nice defense systems up and running. We should really make sure that this thing is ready for a fight.
Yeah.
And we knew that the Nauvoo was going to be turned into this this platform for the OPA, this new base of operations, but Drummer is in charge of it. She's now a fully fledged character. She has her own wants, needs, desires. She has her own power. She has a name fully, and she has her own power. And Naomi is someone that she brought on board. We've said Naomi's out of the picture, but here she is. She's gone back to the OPA, something that she said she would never ever do again. But she's done it. And for what reasons? For what purposes?
I think the actress was like, I want to go full belter with my accent. And they were like, if we stick her around a bunch of belters, that would make more sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Naomi's belter accent is full on again.
Yeah.
We've had hints of it, and we've seen her when she's talked to belters do the full belter accent, but now that's all she's doing, and it's quite a contrast, as is the chest tattoos and the new hairdo.
Yeah.
She is the type of person who's like, my life is changed. I better make sure that everyone knows that it's changed by having these drastic alterations to my personality and look. What do you think of it overall? Like, Naomi is the right-hand person to Drummer on the Behemoth.
I like it. I'm interested to see how it continues. I like their relationship in terms of like a friendship that we know exists and a working relationship that's developing, and how the new second in command will change that, because Naomi is head engineer.
Mm-hmm.
So she has a place at the table, but she's not on equal footing to Drummer or Ashford. But she has Drummer's ear.
She is a voice of reason for Drummer. Drummer brought her on board because she can trust her. That doesn't mean you're perfect 100% of the time. I really loved that too, because there's this whole little thing about there's black market stuff, there's drug dealing, there's pixie dust, there's deals happening. And Naomi later on feels bad that she didn't tell Drummer, because a person that was using these drugs that she saw this happen, died, and it could have cost them so much. And Drummer, instead of doing the usual, "You've betrayed me, how could you?" She just gives the best response to it all of like, "Hey, that's okay. Why are you feeling so bad about that? Like, hey,
like, you're doing the right, like that made sense, and now you're coming to me, which is the right thing, and now we're going to deal with it."
I misjudged the situation. I made you chief engineer because I learned to trust you. I'm sorry. I don't expect you to be perfect. Or anyone. That skiff driver was free to put whatever he liked into his body. We all are. Until that freedom puts others at risk. And then we act accordingly.
What would you say her perspective on things are?
We should not stop being belters now that we're a state.
And how does she demonstrate that, Rachel? What's her thing she wants to fight?
The supplier of pixie dust. And then Ashford manipulates the situation so that she doesn't and she can't approach anything in that same way. Because he's like, we've got to play it like the Inners. We have to establish that we are lawful now, not vengeful. This is conflict that I'm interested in.
Because it's stacked in a way that is so fascinating. Because everything he says, I agree with. I'm like, I understand your point of view. But we know that he's a slimy piece of shit and that he's undermining her position. Because even after he did what you just said, he interrupts her and then he speaks on her behalf, establishing himself as a presence in the room rather than her. And
he tells everybody to go away.
He's the one that he oversteps his bounds. So he says one thing and he may believe it, but then he'll just go a little too far or a little too far this way. Or there's something he'll say that will completely be different to what he said a moment ago.
He's a threat.
But he's one that comes from a place we can understand, but the thing is, we don't trust him at all because he's untrustworthy. They tell us this, and not only tell us, they show us it in his actions, in his words, in his beliefs. Not just what he looks like. He looks like a villain.
Oh, yeah.
Shifty man. Mustache man, you called him. You kept calling him Mustache Man when we were watching it. You're like, hey, it's Mustache Man.
Mustache Man.
With the big burns and scars on his face and the scar around his neck. And the actor just has a very haggard, grim face, and the accent is very thick.
Weirdly reminds me of The Lighthouse.
Yeah. I thought of Willem Dafoe a little bit too. I love him. I love this character. I think he's great. I think he will be an interesting antagonistic force to play with. And a question that I want to throw out there, and even the episode answers this, which is, could this guy just have been Anderson Dawes? Like, doesn't Anderson Dawes do this function in a lot of ways?
Yeah, he does. But it's just like, well, Drummer is Johnson's second in command. So it makes sense that he sent his second.
They're proxies for the actual people in charge. They're their avatars. They're their representatives.
Yeah, they reflect their views. But we know that Drummer doesn't always agree with Fred and that their relationship isn't the strongest. And she'll do what she thinks is right, not necessarily what Fred would do if he was there. We don't know that for Ashford. I'm going to be really embarrassed if that's not his name.
It is in the credits, but I'm 50-50 because I like the character, I like this performance, and there's plenty to go with. And there is the joy of seeing side characters get more material. But we have Fred, we have Anderson. They're really good characters, really great actors, and it feels like we aren't using them. Jared Harris hasn't appeared in the season.
Been neglected.
Jared Harris isn't in the season at all. He hasn't appeared, and it feels like such a sorrow that that's the case. And I kept watching these scenes thinking, man, if this was Anderson Dawes, this would be really good still, but it's still really good. So it's a real case of they've given me a nice meal and I like it, but then there's also that part of me that's like, oh, but I really like that other meal that I've had from this restaurant before. And
Holden is shown to being out of sorts a little bit throughout the episode. He's missing Naomi. He's dealing with the crew. He seems a little bit stressed about the legal troubles. But nothing unsettles him more than seeing a hatted Miller.
Who he never met with a hat. Fun fact, he never met Miller with the hat. So...
Hatted Miller on his bunk.
Muttering about stuff, and he's saying almost like it's a mantra that what was it? There is no law in series, just cops.
Yeah.
Something like that. One of the things he was in season 1 mentioned. This has to be because of the ring, right?
Yeah.
Because of the guy smashed in the ring. It's activated this weirdness.
Coincided with this, and it makes me wonder if it's because Miller is integrated into the blue goo, or if it's a timey-wimey thing.
Yeah, I don't know, because the hat is really...
Like both.
Because, okay, there's many questions of what Miller is. Was Miller physically there? Was he there? Was there a physical thing and then he transported or disappeared? Is it a hologram? Is it a mental link between him and Holden? Is it like Holden getting this like psychosomatic thing going on because of the ring and it's now... but the thing is the hat. The hat answers a lot of things because Holden never met Miller with the hat.
Because he left it back on Ceres.
Yes. Hatted Miller never existed for Holden. And now here is Miller with a hat on, and it could be this. Now, my cynical brain tells me they had to put a hat on Thomas Jane because he probably has a different hair.
Yeah, that also.
Did he wear shoes in this scene? That's the most important thing. Did he have his feet out?
We've got a lot of things to watch.
We've got a lot of things to keep. I didn't, again, didn't see this coming, and I am on it. Like, I was happy when Miller gone, but there was this whole promise that he could come back.
A pleasant surprise.
Thomas Jane is back.
That's where I end up with this. And it is, like, it's a lot of fuel for predictions.
It is. What would you rate the episode Delta V out of our rating system of Yum being bad, Yum being good?
Here's what I say. This episode is about as good as it can get for what it is, but it isn't enough to make it a yum for me. So it's yum.
I didn't like this episode. It's as simple as that. I just didn't care for it. There's great material in it. There's great scenes. There's great character work. Good acting.
But as an episode,
I just don't... Yeah, this is the first one of the season I know that I did not like very much. And it is a yum. What is the name of the next episode, Rachel? Hopefully it will pick up our spirits.
It reaches out.
That's the name of the episode?
I believe so, yes.
Oh, sorry. It's just such a weird statement. It reaches out. We have not seen it. I didn't even know the title until Rachel just read it right now. That's why I was like, is that the name of it? Okay.
Unless I read it wrong
we
on
know
IMDb.
We know zero. We know nothing of this, and now we are here to give our thoughts on what could be happening next time on The Expanse or down the road in general. I
think something is going to interact from the other side of the ring. I think that's what it's going to be. That's my basic guess. I think we're going to deal with a lot of characters reconnecting and reaching out to each other. I think it's going to be a very thematic tile as well. I do want to say that I was technically right. The best kind of right. About this episode containing backstory for the blue goo, because we get it all condensed into one place. He unloads all of the information of like where it came from and how long ago it came into the universe. So
yeah, which we had explained in the show before, but you got it again for you specifically. The next episode, I'll keep it simple because there's so many moving parts that could be picked up, but I'm going to keep it very simple. I think that it's going to be about the Rocinante getting closer to the ring, and Holden is getting these conversations and or connections with our good friend Miller, drawing him close, saying, hey, you got to come to the ring so we can
representative.
Yes, we need to have a chat. But they're going to be halted because of sabotage from the cameraman. Either the blue goo within the ship goes crazy, and or there's going to be some major issues with security because of the bomb that goes off in the other ship that Melba set up.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts on what the next episode could mainly be about. Just the nuts and bolts. I think those things are going to happen. There's so many other things like what's Christian going to be getting up to, and what about Bobby and so on. But that's what my general opinion is. Now, with the series, things have obviously been thrown into the air with all of the pieces, and with predictions down the road, I think Ashford is going to try and take over the behemoth.
Yes.
And I think he is going to make a play.
Mutiny is on the cards.
Yeah, and I think he's going to make a play for the OPA to do something devastating to the system at large.
Yep.
Whether it is we take the ring and we militarize it, or we do it for ourselves, or...
Yeah, well, it's more in the Belters zone than Mars or Earth.
And Diogo, I think, is going to be a bigger player in the story now that they brought him back, and I think he's going to be this little chaotic goblin that's going to ruin things for our heroes. Whenever things look like they're going to go well, Diogo is going to fuck it up for them, because that's what his character has been.
He's a fuck up.
I would love it if he finds out that Miller's alive again. That would be very.
I would love for Miller's
back
fuck
again.
him up.
That would be very good.
Be like, you fucking played my death. Like, you were the hero. Get fucked.
And again, this episode serves to make us question many things. Will we see Mao again? Will we see Ehrenreich again? Will we see this person? What happened with this person? What is the state of this group and this thing?
A lot of questions.
A lot of questions, and we won't go through them all because we've already gone through most of them during the pod already. But I hope everyone, you've enjoyed us moaning and bitching and complaining and just having a rip into Delta V. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. If not, I'm Soz, and you have to accept my apology because Soz is the most sincere form of saying sorry. And that's a fact.
Well, a close second is that if you're listening to this on the main feed to join up with Patreon, money says a lot.
Money, pay us, bitch. No. In all seriousness, thank you all so much for listening, whether you're on the main feed or the Patreon feed.
Special thank you to those patrons. If you want to connect with us, you can do so via various social medias. We're under yumyumpod or yumyumpodcast. If you want to directly message us and have those conversations, the Patreon Discord is great for that. If you don't have access to that, then our email, yumyumpod@gmail.com, is a great place to hit us up as well.
We are on all of the podcast hosting sites, so if you're not subscribed to us or following us there, make sure to do so and rate and review the podcast. We would very much like it if you did that, and if not, share us around with all of your friends, family, foes. Give us over to them. Say, you should listen to these two Australians talk about The Expanse. They have some crazy views. It's their first time watching it, so don't spoil it for them, or else we will get you, okay? Like, the Yum Yum podcast and the community will get you. We will get you, and we will make you pay. And it's a new book.
It's a new book.
It's a new season, basically, of The Expanse
It's a
halfway
new dawn.
through.
It's a new day.
But you know what I didn't see in this new era? The OPA's estate. Who should be their spokesperson? Wait. You know who was Anderson Dawes' real right-hand man? Not
Gaunt
Ashford.
Belter.
It was Gaunt Belter.
That's
Where
who we
is he?
saw. That's who we knew.
He was on the radio. That's how big he was, remember? He was on the radio all the time.
He's been neglected for too long. We're getting a lot of people coming back. We're getting a lot of new people in. We want the Gaunt Belter back, baby.
See you then. Well, voila.